Hello, Relay for Life. I'm so sorry I can't be with you, but I really appreciate you listening to my cancer adventure. All right. My name is Iris Coe-Gross. I'll begin. Control. I always thought I had control over my life. That's a funny notion to me now. I worked tirelessly to keep control. I was a young mom who thought I could protect my children from the world. Feeling in control is such a hard way to live now, I see. There is always anxiety associated with keeping everything in control. My journey to losing control started 6 years ago when I found my lump a week after my daughter's first birthday. Her gift that year was to finally stop nursing. She always hated it. Her gift was to start cow milk. She was always a fussy nurser, not at all like her older brother Gabriel. But I persisted in nursing for a year because I had the control, and I thought it was the healthiest thing for her. On her first birthday, she happily took the cow's milk and has become a much more contented child from then on. A week after we stopped nursing, I was getting ready to shower when I looked in the mirror and I saw the lump. It was so large, I was really surprised I hadn't seen it before. So once I found the lump, the diagnosis of stage 3 breast cancer came swiftly. Calls were made to family and friends. Plans were in the works for meals. My son was pulled from preschool, and I was put on leave from work. The week of diagnosis felt like an alternate universe. My husband Mike and I, slightly dizzy with worry, went from appointment to appointment, blood draws, scans, medication pickups, and port placements. Calendars were made, childcare was arranged, visits were planned, and there was hardly much time to think about anything other than what we had to do to start our therapy. Mike took me to meet my oncologist for our first appointment and also to receive my first chemotherapy that day. We walked in feeling confident in our future, even with this glitch in our path. As a nurse on the bone marrow transplant unit, I took care of patients with the hardest cancers to treat on the hardest chemotherapy there is. Stage 3 breast cancer truly felt like a blessing at the time. The doctor came in and introduced himself kindly. He pulled up an image of my CT scan for us all to look at. The cancer has metastasized to your spine, making your diagnosis now a stage 4 breast cancer. I was so caught off guard that I hardly remember much of that talk except for the doctor saying, "We're hoping for a Hail Mary pass. You have a 1% chance of remission." My lifespan was being compared to a football play. It stung, but I was really happy to know the truth in no uncertain terms. We went home with my first chemotherapy given, and certainly the greatest grief I have ever carried. Mike and I sat with our parents as we all tried to wrap our head around this unexpected news. My mother took me aside that day to talk to me alone. She told me a mother can sprout wings and fly for her children when she needs to. I believe my mom about this still to this day. I carry that mantra with me daily, 1% fly, to remind myself always of the fight that we have to go through. I felt as a mother to young children that I had the ability to control their lives, not in a bad way, but to keep them protected and safe. I knew what went into their stomachs 3 meals a day. I knew to feed them only the healthiest food. I knew not to let them watch screens and how much outside time they should have, and on and on. Even when I worked, my husband would bring me the kids for me to visit or eat lunch with or just check in on. Being a mother, a good mother, it was my passion. Those first few months of letting go of that control of my family was so hard. I have a little picture of my in-laws that they sent to me, and it had my mother-in-law dipping Adeline's pacifier in a chocolate milkshake to give to her. She was breaking all sorts of rules. Fast food and milkshakes? What? She knew it would stress me out a little bit, but it was her playful way of saying, "We've got this. We do it different, but don't worry." Day by day, I gave up a little control of my family. They would be raised by many people that year and many years after, all trying to do their best to do as we would do for our children. I freed up a lot of tension in my mind, realizing I needed help and I needed to relinquish control. The worry of a little sugar in their life seemed very silly compared to the possibility of losing a parent. I love that they got to spend so much time with their family and our friends and relatives. They have formed strong bonds with all of them that never would have happened otherwise. Losing control sounds horrible. It sounds like you're giving up. Most of us think that control is good and it's obtainable if we strive hard enough for it. When you are diagnosed with cancer, control is taken from you quickly. The chemicals I have always tried to keep out of my body were now being pumped in to save my life. The side effects of the medication took control of my bowels and of my appetite, of all of my energy. By the end of chemotherapy, radiation, and surgery, all I wanted to do was give away control to anybody who would take it. I was fortunate I had a community that was ready to step up. This month now marks 6 years since I lost control to cancer. I obtained that remission that was so far from reach, only a 1% chance. I relapsed 2 years later, but was able to get to remission again, and as of today, I am still with no evidence of disease. Life has changed so much since my first diagnosis, and truly for the better. The cliches you hear are all true. You can see the colors clearer, you can appreciate the sunsets, you can be happily, simply living your life. I started making art because the world is such a beautiful place, and I needed a way to show my thanks and my gratitude for it. My art is my outlet for emotions, my healing, my understanding, my curiosity, and my self-expression. I have not gone back to work as a nurse. Our first priority as a family is to spend as many days together possible. Money is now trite, and time is everything. Time to spend as a family, time to watch my children grow, and time to do nothing but be here, now. Control is something I've offered to the wind. Take away all the control from me. If I ever had had control, I would never have let cancer happen. And if cancer had never happened, I don't think life would ever have been this beautiful. Thank you so much.